UFC 292 was packed with excitement. There was a crazy knockout. A new contender at 170 emerged, and of course, some horrible UFC judging. It wouldn't be a UFC card without terrible judging, right? In this video, we're going to discuss the potential opponents for Sugar Sean O'Malley. I think everybody thinks it's going to be Chito Vera, but guess what? I don't, and here's why. Sean announced that he hasn't been grappling for almost 6 weeks before the Aljamain Sterling fight because he has this strained muscle under his ribcage. So, I think there's going to be a lot more time in between his next fight than people think. If Sean wants to fight in December, like he said, that only gives him 4 months to recover from that injury. And you got to think he's going to start camp, 6 to 10 weeks before. So that only really gives him 2 months to completely heal a pretty bad injury. Those kind of soft tissue muscle injuries are very, very hard to get rid of, right? So I think he's going to be out for maybe even 6 months. Maybe even 7 months. So maybe January or February is when he actually fights. And that sets up a perfect rematch with him and Aljamain Sterling. In my opinion, this makes the most sense. If Aljamain Sterling doesn't want to fight in January, February, then I say move on. And then you can go with Chito. Corey Sandhagen might be ready for then. Henry Cejudo is waiting in the wings, and so is Merab. So there are a lot of options for Sean O'Malley. But I really think it's not going to be Merab. It's not going to be Corey. It's not going to be Chito. It's going to be Aljamain Sterling. They're going to do the rematch. And Ray Longo recently leaked on a podcast that Sean Shelby was like, hey, do you want the rematch? And since he's Aljo's coach, it's coming from a reliable source. So I think the rematch is potentially in the works right now. The Chito fight makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of, clout there with him being the only guy who actually beat Sean O'Malley, and now that he's the champ, you can really run with that storyline. But I think December is going to be too soon for Sean O'Malley to return. So I think he's going to take a couple extra months. He's going to come back February, maybe even March, and fight Aljamain Sterling in a rematch for the bantamweight title. Then Chito and Merab could possibly fight. Corey's going to need a fight. That Corey Sandhagen Merab fight sounds like a lot of fun. And Henry Cejudo's in that mix too. You can do Henry Cejudo versus Chito. So there's a lot of other fights for these 135ers, but I think it makes the most sense for the UFC to give Aljo a rematch, see if he can get the title back, and if not, maybe Aljo moves to 145. Say Sean O'Malley starches him again, then that's great for the UFC. His star power is even higher. Then you can go with the Merab match, you can go with the Chito match, or even the Henry Cejudo match after that. There's a lot of fights for Sean O'Malley. It's really exciting time to be a fan of the 135 division. Let me know in the comments below, who do you think Sean O'Malley's going to fight next? I'm going with Aljo. Let me know in the comments below who you think. Like, subscribe. Peace.